Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I think we can hear you well.
All right, thank you very much. This evening, we have one board member attending remotely by phone, Ms. King. Ms. King, you can hear us and we can hear you, yes?
Yes, I can.
Great, thank you. And we have two board members absent. Mr. Boyer and Ms. Reinartz are not in attendance this evening. All right, moving on. Do not see anyone signed in for visitor comment. So we will move to superintendent update. Dr. Mann.
Yes, a very brief report. Two topics. First, the Southern Lehigh Education Foundation Board was in the district today and went around and met up and congratulated 6 of our teachers who completed successfully the innovative grant, and they awarded over $15,000, which was really exciting. And then I also want to acknowledge Coach Adrienne Serfas for her 400th win in field hockey, which took place this last week, which is a incredible yet totally unsurprising achievement for our coach. So that's my report. Thank you, Mrs. Gaiman.
Okay, great. Thanks. That is wonderful news on both fronts to share. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about the projects those teachers will be using going forward. Wonderful. All right, we have a short agenda this evening. We don't have anything under curriculum, student and staff services, or special education and student services. Under technology, I do have a motion to approve the attached contract with BCIU, Berks County IU, for technical support services. I have a motion.
So moved. Oh, second.
All right. Motion, Mr. Carney, a second, Ms. Cruz. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments or background on this item, Dr. Mann?
I'm happy to provide it. Berks County IU, our neighbor, has a division within their organization that supports, I think, upwards of 18 school districts that utilize Infinite Campus, which is our new student information system. Our staff has been working, our administrative and professional staff have been working diligently during this transition. We've had some particular challenges in special education as far as operability of the system. And so they have particular expertise, and where we're starting is to utilize their services to support our special education professionals in IC, and ultimately we envision expanding their services for training and additional support to assist in our efforts.
Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate that. And this is a contract just for special education services for the special education department. Is that correct at this time?
I think we would be prepared to extend their work beyond any individual, but our initial focus is certainly going to be on special ed.
Okay, so another contract might be forthcoming if it expands beyond special ed, or would that not be?
It could be, and I may just, like, for instance, we're doing a block of 20 hours. We may just wish to expand that. I will keep the board posted on where we are. So,
but the contract covers many departments potentially.
It does, but this one in particular, the second provision is specifically for special education in some of the forms, but the block of consulting hours will be primarily focused on special ed, but may extend beyond that.
Great. Thanks so much for that explanation. Anyone else? Any other questions on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I'm sorry, I didn't hear Ms. King's vote.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is
Ms. Gaiman, if I could add, I just like to
Yes.
thank administration for seeking that partnership with Berks IU. I think this will be great moving forward. Infinite Campus is a very robust student information system, and they are very skilled and knowledgeable. So I appreciate what administration has done for this partnership.
To be fair, our technology committee was very supportive and generating these ideas as well. So very much a team effort.
I look forward to learning more, to hearing what comes of the partnership. and also seeking, administration to also look for some of the challenges that were discussed during technology committee, having to do with prior year records and accessibility, and how we can go back to the old partner and see how they could spin up an instance so at least items could be accessible. So I'm looking forward to hearing that from administration. Thank you.
Okay, great. We don't have any items under budget and finance or support services, but we do need to approve the human resources report. And we have a first reading of policies 113.2, 113.3, 113.5, 610, 611, 612, and 818. Can I have a motion to take human resources items 9A and B?
Motion. I'll second this time.
Ms. Chris is the first and Mr. Carney is the second this time. Thank you both. All right. Any questions or comments on any of these items before we vote? All right.
I just have one comment. 113.2, I noticed a typo early on. I know this is the first policy reading, so just
Not a substantive, just kind
no,
of a.
it's just a couple typos I noticed. At least on 113.3, I'm sorry. 113.2, there was another typo. I thought I read, so I can forward them.
Sure, that'd be
Just
great.
a couple
And
typos just to clean up.
Yeah. And there were a lot of red line back and forth in those, so I can see that it's not substantive. So yeah, we're fine to proceed with the first reading and still make those changes. Thanks. Anything else? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on. Committee reports. Let's see. The policy committee report is basically contained in those first reading of policies that we just voted upon. That's the work. You see the work there we've been doing in policy. So that's my report there. Anyone else? Mr. Carney, do you have or Ms. Torba, committee reports?
Nothing to report from technology committee. We will look to resume. There's some surveys, some things we're moving forward with for devices for our students, and that's where we will be picking up. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Carney?
Yep. For ACMC, our October 10th meeting was canceled since there were no new forms to look at, but we are looking through email at some possible changes to some approval forms. Our next meeting is November 14th. LCTI sent, first of all, I have a shirt on from them, but I sent a written report to the board. Any parents that are interested, the open house is November 14th. If you register, you get a free t-shirt. So I'd recommend that. 8th and 9th grade is 8th and 9th grade tours are next month. 5th grade is in the spring. The graduation celebration, if anybody wants to jot it down, it is PPL Center, May 27th. And the thing that impressed me is Mr. Mon and I heard a student report out about attending a Health Occupation Students of America DC Leadership Academy. And it's just really neat to see the opportunities that they're giving to LCTI students. My longest report is for the Ed Committee. We met on October 7th at 4:30. Moving it 1 hour later from last year did not have an impact on attendance for this, at least for this meeting yet. Our next scheduled meeting is November 4th, but we will be having a special October 22nd to interview 2 companies that submitted multi-page proposals for full-day kindergarten, and we hope to bring a recommendation to the board on October 28th. As far as the October 7th, there were recommendations. There are no recommendations to bring to the board, but I'd like to share some information. The informational presentation is available to anyone on the public posting of the Ed Committee agenda. At the meeting, we were given an update on RFP. We had an overview of the curriculum cycle and the content areas broken down by K to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 12 with plans, reviews, and implementations that are ongoing. The district is preparing a new 3-year comprehensive plan leading up to a late March board approval. A committee of various stakeholders is being formed formed or is formed. Much of our meeting was about steels. They are new standards. STEEL stands for Science, Tech, Engineering, Environmental, Lit, and Sustainability. Our curriculum must align with these standards by 2005, 2006. The PS, yeah, if you want to address it then. PSSA science assessments will no longer include fourth grade. This year's fifth and eighth graders will be field testing the STEELS test, which is interesting because there's no prep stuff out there yet. The shift is from general. So I was wondering what the difference is between the old standards and this one. The shift is from general content knowledge to real skill application, from knowing to doing, from learning about to figuring it out, from memorization to participation. I mean, that's like a very simple version. Our staff is being has professional development on it. The elementary level looks like it's more of a fit right now with aligning because they use FOSS, which I use, and it's very engaging and matches what I just talked about. However, there's review committees and pilots going on in our other levels. And if there's anything else, or if you have any questions, Dr. Trinkle, I want to thank Dr. Trinkle for all of her work. It was a great meeting, and thank everybody that showed up for it.
Tim, I'm assuming you mean 2025, 2026, not 2005, 2006. Okay, good.
The steels will have implementation requirements for 2025, 2026. That's correct. Yeah.
I'd just like to reiterate one point on the LCTI is that if you've never been to that facility and see what's going on, that open house is really something. I think there's almost 500,000 square feet of education going on there with many different programs. I think it may be 44 or something like that. There are demonstrations, students showing what they're doing every year, anything from baking to masonry to robotics to medical professionals, anything you can think of. It's an interesting open house. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve, I've been to that, and just touring the facility and their new welding, suite is impressive in and of itself. And I believe I remember a report that the veterinary sciences program has been expanded a little bit due to popularity. Just so many things that we would have never thought of as parents now that our kids could go to a school like LCTI to pursue. So yeah, I echo that. Thanks for bringing it up, and encourage anyone to turn out for that open house. It's really neat to see.
The only problem I had is when I went to sign up for the open house, it said student name. There was nothing that said as an adult that I could go, but you've gone before. Anybody can go.
You can just walk in.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, that's probably for participating potentially. I'm not sure.
If you're wearing a shirt.
Wear your shirt, Tim. As a board member, I think they'd probably, let you in there. Thanks for driving up to LCTI all these weeks and reporting back to us, Stephen and Tim. Much appreciated. All right. It looks like that. Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Pepe.
Madam President, since Mr. Boyer's not with us,
I was just going to say.
I'll give you a quick update. The Facilities Committee met on October 1st. Mr. Boyer was there, Ms. Cruz, Mr. Mond, administration, Dr. Mayen, Mr. Rohrback, and myself. The items that we covered included the high school HVAC update. As far as we are now at punch list items, and they're making good progress on wrapping that up. We also went over the change order about the flushing to see if there's any ability to get some money back on that from the contractor that should have been doing that all along. We talked about the Liberty Bell Elementary School chillers and the Liberty Bell roof, as well as the middle school roof project. The bids for the roof project were scheduled for October 16th. We're going to be pushing that back to October 30th to give the architects additional time based on the walkthrough with the roofers and a lot of RFIs that came out of that. So they want to tighten up the specs. So we're going to end up pushing both of the roof bid meetings out to the end of the month. We are still going to have the bid opening for the chillers on the 16th. We also had a discussion about the high school library, gave a quick update. Our assistant superintendent to my left here has been working on that project along with myself and we met with Alloy 5 and we had a very exciting first meeting in the space. And you want to add anything to that, Karen?
No, I agree. It was exciting. I think we were able to kind of go from end to end and really just talk ideas just without any formal planning, because our next steps will involve developing a steering committee, which we're already talking about, bi-weekly meetings with the team, and Ally 5 will be here to do that. We've booked those out until substantial completion. So it's really exciting. There's a lot of opportunity with that space, but next steps, we'll be developing an internal steering committee, so that we can hear feedback from our teachers, perhaps some students and things like that. So that's the next stage of that.
And that's also going to help with the next critical part of that, and that's developing the scope in order to ascertain a budget so that we can see what we're actually looking at. And as we continue with all the facility projects, we're continuing to work towards putting money into our facility capital reserve. And with the audit coming out in a month or two, we should be hearing some more good news in that respect so that we can fund these particular projects. We also talked about the middle school tennis court repairs that was asked about, again, any flexibility. Would it be in kind, or can we reimagine that space somehow to be more beneficial to the physical education program, as well as special ed needs, as well as athletics? So we're looking at trying to get additional modifications to a quote that we obtained in kind. Everything you see out there, if it was redone as is, it was about $270,000. So we're figuring about a $300,000 budget for that particular project. And again, that's not a guaranteed project. That's for the facilities committee to help determine prioritization and need, and whether or not they want to bring that to the full board with a recommendation. Also, we talked about minor repairs like the Liberty Bell boilers, potential tube replacement. That's again around $10,000. We'll get to a point where we start to say, hey, look, maybe we should really consider replacing the boilers rather than continuing to put money into, replacing tubes. And that was it, other than we did have an executive session and some of that information was covered today.
Yep. And just because you mentioned that exec session was on the meeting date, the same day as the last facilities meeting, we'll have our solicitor when they announce at the next meeting. But just because you mentioned it was on the same day, tangential to that meeting time. Okay, great. Thanks very much. Appreciate you pinch hitting for Mr. Boyer, who couldn't be here tonight. I think that concludes committee reports. Yes. All right. Let's see. We don't have any new business or any other business for this evening. Does anybody have?
Very quickly, I omitted in my superintendent's report to thank Mrs. Gaiman and Mrs. Torba for the time they spent at the PASA PSBA conference. They spent 2 full days there going over all kinds of exciting things and related to district operations and all kinds of, again, valuable things. And I always want to encourage our board members to consider those type of opportunities going forward. And I thank Emily and Melissa for your participation.
Yeah, and we got to sit in and hear your presentation. So thank you for sharing that with and for making a presentation. That's a great to be selected. That's a nice kudo to you as well. It's good to hear. Yes, Tim, go ahead.
So in late September, there was a organization called Niche, and they released different rankings, which I'm always hesitant about, but when it's us, I'm not. So out of everything, the district with the best teachers. What? Did I mess up the date again?
No, you're good.
All right.
Just pause for applause. That was a kudo, Tim. That was
Okay.
good. Right.
So I know this is great news, though. The district with the best teachers, #1 in the Lehigh Valley was Southern Lehigh. So thank you so much. We were actually number 9 out of 496 districts that they looked at.
For best teachers.
Best teachers. And what they do is you can go online and look at the methodology, but the 2 biggest things are that they look at are academic scores of the students and reviews of the teachers by parents and students. So those were the 2 biggest. That makes up 50%.
That's
so
great.
If there's any way that we could recognize the teachers in some kind of way from the district, I'd really appreciate that. You'll be on it. There's a
comment-
list.
the
Go
comment from
after 'em.
The comment from the peanut gallery is someone in the audience, might be a teacher, wants to know who the 8 who beat him out were.
It's on
So
there.
just
So
because
the-
you're not mic'd, we want to carry that humor forward. Here.
We are number 1 in the Lehigh Valley for best teachers, and we're number 9 in the state. October 3rd, the girls' soccer senior night was a lot of fun. I'd never been to that event before, so thank you. And October 4th, homecoming. I had a great time until I got my car to come home and I had a flat. But other than that, everything on the district end was amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and thanks to our coaches and our extracurricular activities for extending those invitations to the board. We appreciate it when we can make time in our schedules to turn out. I agree. The soccer night was good to see. All right. Anything else for the good for the good of the order under new business or other business? No.
Well,
See,
I don't know. It seems like open mic night here. Maybe we missed it, or maybe someone said it. So just you can laser glare me. Congratulations to our golf team. They won the Colonial
Yes.
League
yes.
and districts. Congratulations.
No, all good news all around. All right, wonderful. We have some information only items on the agenda there. No need to vote, just information only. And I don't believe, I'll refresh the page. I don't believe I have any visitor comment. So, nope, seeing none. In that case, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming out. Safe travels home. Appreciate it.